There we go. Over to you, Alois.
Hi, everybody again. Ladies and gentlemen, because I've seen Brit is there as well. So yeah, I just prepared a bit stuff for tying some streamers today. And yeah, to be honest, it's my first time tying streamers since the BFFI because we have the trout season going on here right now. And yeah, I'm a bit into trout more like last year because I met, Stephen Shorrock and Tim Wood and stuff. We also meet during the week once or twice on WhatsApp and tie together and talk a bit of rubbish. And yeah, I learned a few flies, a few new dry flies, a few nymphs and stuff. And yeah, went out fishing and it went pretty well. So yeah, the BFFI, maybe somebody has joined me for a quick chat and had a look at the flies. I'm tying streamers in a kind of different way. As you can see here, it's quite volumed, but with a really less amount of material. So it's a very lightweight thing. You can easily see through it. The best thing on that stuff is that you can cast it the whole day. So yeah, compared to bobtail and other natural materials, you don't have any water soaking up your fly or soaking up into your fly and being more and more weighted the longer you fish it. The second thing is this material is super durable, so you can catch easily, I'd say like 50 up to 80 pike on that fly and it won't lose its shape. Yeah, it's tremendous because it's fully synthetic and nothing will break. Even if you comp it, the first time you comp it, a few fibers will come out. But if you are done with it and made the head, this fly is now without a head, without any eyes, even if there are tab eyes on it or normal 3D eyes fixed with some raid zap. That's awesome stuff. I always say like flies don't need eyes because it's only for us, the fishermen, to just have a bit more confidence in the fly and fish it like a long time. So you have definitely a fish on it. The longer you fish a fly, you know that the more it is possible that you can catch a fish on it. And if you have confidence, like I do, like I have in my flies, you're gonna catch. Colors is the second thing. For me, this is a nice color, yeah. But normally I start with black and I end the day with black because black is a color that has the most contrast, even if it's dark in the night, yeah, or it's shiny during the day, or if the water is murky, because the predator will always look from the bottom side. And if he looks from the bottom side against the moon or the sun, it's always lighter than the fly, so you see the fly as a predator every time you use black. This is an attractive color, or I'd say like a color that tickles the fish. You can also tie it with a heavy UV stuff if you like it, if you have confidence in UV colors, but normally black is the thing to go for me. Yeah, if you have clear waters, you can imitate perfectly a roach or a bream or a baby carp or whatever. You just need to pick out the colors you prefer. This stuff here, maybe you have seen it already. It's I'd say like, yeah, kinky fiber is it called? What's it called in the UK? I think kinky fiber is a name,
Flora fiber.
Sorry?
Flora fiber.
Yeah, it's a bit wavy, it's a bit stiff, it's very durable, and yeah, you can buy that in every shop. I call it the curly creature hair in my shop. You can see it here, a bit of sparkle in it already. I always pre-mix that stuff because I want to have a consistency in the fly. in not only the volume, the silhouette and stuff. I want to have consistency also in the colors I use. So I just put the fibers on the table, you know, and then put some flash over it. You can use some holographic flash or some dyed pearl flash, whatever. And then I just get it together, comp it, put it on the table again with the flash, get it mixed up, comp it again, and I comp it with a pet brush like this. Yeah, then you have it, and you can put it back in your bag very easy with only using a Dyna-4 sheet and paper. You just roll it in the Dyna-4 sheet, like really, really thin, and then you just put the Dyna-4 sheet in the bag, hold the tips, get the paper off, and then it's in the bag again. So this is a thing when you have no clue what to tie, which color, whatever. I just mix my colors. I just pre-mix my colors. And then when I mix the colors, I got an idea mostly of the time. I want to combine this and that color now. Yeah, just a beside or a parallel inspiration while you do work you normally don't like to do when you want to tie, you know. Yeah, the ingredients of the fly, I already told you about, the hair. Then we have a dubbing. This one is a quite new dubbing. We're going to talk about that later. Normally I use my curly creature dubbing. It's a fully synthetic fiber as well. It's such a cool thing, and I said like it's very durable. When you hold that in your hands and you want to really tear it apart, it's not possible. And that's the same way it behaves when the predator just smacks the fly. And when it comes out of the mouth and the fly is like, you know, chewed and looks like really fuzzy. And normally, you know, in my beginning days, I would say like, okay, this needs to get back in the box. I just retie it or whatever. And with that materials or with those materials, you just take your brush. I always have in my pocket when I go fishing. Even if I wade, this small thing fits in everything, and then you just comp it, and then there you go. The fly is quite new, yeah, quite really good, refreshed, newly, whatever, and very juicy, yeah, Chris. Yeah, that's good stuff. Then we talked about 2 ingredients, but the main ingredient to hook the fish is the hook, yeah. We have several hooks you can use. I'm going to switch the camera to maybe see it a bit better. I'll just get me a bit smaller here. We have, for this fly I used, it's a quite thick wired hook from Partridge. It's the CS86 XS. So it's the smaller or the shorter version of its bigger brother. A really thick wired hook, which is, I would say, like the heaviest or the strongest hook I know. Not the heaviest. There are way heavier hooks on the market, but it's the strongest. I never lost a fish on that hook. And he has another brother from the same mother. It's the CS86, not the X or XS. It's only the CS86. It's a thin wired hook, available, I think, like until half a year ago, only in size 4.0, and now it's available in 6.0, so you can really tie big streamers on it. But why I use thin wired and thick wired hooks? It's very easy to understand. With the different hook shapes or the different wire thickness of the hook, you can easily choose the behavior of the fly. Yeah, if you have a thick wired hook, the fly is gonna swim a bit more active. It's gonna be jigging. It's gonna be diving a bit more. So you can imitate prey during the springtime or summer, where the prey is fast and the fish hunts fast as well. But if you regard like the winter time, where the pike are really try to get fat and don't want to lose any energy in targeting fish that is too fast, they used to just attack prey which is swimming slow, which behaves like a bit sick, whatever. And there you use thin wired hooks, because then you can tie a fly like, I'd say, like mostly suspending. Yeah.
I understand as well. You were practicing learning to speak Polish,
and therefore you can choose the hook size as well. So the lightweight hook in, I'd say, like from 4 to 6.0 is perfect for the winter time, and then the heavier hooks like the CS86X or the XS is 4.0 perfect as well, up to 6 as well, for me during the summertime or the springtime.
Words that begin with PRZ.
And how can I get that volume in that fly? Very easy. It's a very, very easy trick to do. I just count my materials now in the front so that you can see how I did that magic. Look at this. There's a small rubber bead, which I cut it in half. It's a common rubber bead from carp fishing. I'm going to show you that in a bit more detailed way. I also cutted them already in half here, but I can show you how to do it. You see that? This is the rubber bead. I'm going to get a bit more in focus. This is the rubber bead half cutted. And how do I cut this rubber bead in half? It's quite easy. You just put the full rubber bead on the dubbing needle, and then you just have to imagine roll your rubber bead on the table while slicing it with your knife. Yeah. It's very easy to do, and you have a clean cutted surface so that your material is able to be forced in that groove here. We're going to talk about that in 2 minutes. Very, very consistently around the hook shank, and it lays against that bead and has always the same angle, so that you can have a volume fly, which is, I already said that before when you maybe wasn't already joining, a few guys of you. It's like a fist in the water. If you have a look at that fly, it's quite fat, and it really pushes water and makes the fish saying, yeah, here I am, look at me, I'm there. I make pressure in the water. The sidelines of the predator just recognize the fish there quite fast. And yeah, that's the main reason. It's durable. It is like really making noise in the water, and it's easy to tie, as you can see, and it's quite cheap to tie because the materials I use aren't very expensive. So now let's start. We have here this half-cutted rubber bead. It's moving on the hook shank, which is, yeah, not our way to go. So I just position the rubber bead where I want it. It's round about 1 centimeter behind the hook eye. And the coolest thing is now I use 2 different threads. This one here is the 200 denier Semperfly Nano Silk. That's the best thing, the best thread you can get on the whole world, I'd say. It's the strongest and toughest stuff my bobbin ever kissed. Yeah, I'm gonna just put some super glue on it, get the rubber bead back, and then where the rubber bead was sitting, I just create a thread base. And I don't have to use much wraps here because I use this 200 denier. It's a bit more thick, so it's very easy to tie. And then you go forth. You just get your super glue on it, and if the surface or the pressure the thread makes onto or spreads out to the rubber bead, you just get your rubber bead over that stuff with the super glue on it, and then you have it. It's gonna sit like hell. If you think like, okay, that rubber bead is can move a bit, that's no problem. You just get your thread behind it, and create a small bump. Yeah, and I have no super glue now on it. It's gonna fall a bit together, no worries. A bit of super glue again. It's not necessary in total, because the super glue will just set the rubber bead perfectly. But this is super secured then. And there you have it. The first step for a really easy tight fly. And there we go. The next thread I'm going to use is the same stuff in black, the Semperfine Nano Silk, but it's a 100 denier. That's enough for our situation. And we have a bit of super glue here left. Just get the thread into the super glue. Nice thread base here. And then our next step follows. We're going to choose the body material. I'm going to switch the camera for a second. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Come on. There you are. So I'm going to retie the fly I tied before. I use now a bit of grayish stuff. It's normally not gray, it's white and black mixed together. You can buy it like this, but I added, as I said before, a bit of flash. For the amount of body material, you have to think about rolling a toothpick or a Q-tip to clean your ears between your fingers. That diameter is the correct amount of material. And therefore, you just roll it in your hands and feel like, okay, I need a bit more. And you can really roll it with a bit of pressure. Yeah, that's good. And for me, for that fly, this material is a bit too long. So I just get my scissors and cut it like, I'd say like 16 centimeters in length, 16, 17 centimeters in length. And then I just taper it again, because tapering is very necessary. If you don't do that, your fly looks like totally artificial. Yeah, it's like a sausage, cut it on a hook shank. And that's not what we want to have. So a bit of tapering. And if you want to see if the tapering is good, you just comp it a bit, and then you can see like it's going in a V shape in here. So this side is great. Yeah, this as well. And now we do a step which is not normal in fly tying, I'd say. I mean, I know a few guys who do this also with different other materials. We have this curly material and it's quite stiff here. What can we do to make it a bit more alive, to act a bit more like, yeah, like a real fish in the water? We want to get all these wavy parts here flat. We want to get them straight, because if they are straight, they won't support each other. They won't be stiff. They will be like a jellyfish, like the antennas or the legs of a jellyfish, you know? And therefore, I just take a hair iron. And very important here now is that you hold your material like this, because we're gonna warm it up. And when we warm it up and hold them like this, I'm gonna show you that. Then we have an effect which we don't want to have. So I'm switching that thing on, and I'm constantly moving my hair iron over that material. And then when it starts to I'd say like transform into flat and straight, I'm gonna switch it off, because then we have the right color. And if I hold it like this and it's getting cold, it's gonna have a light curve. Okay, now it's not that curved, but normally when you have a bit more material and it hangs down and cools, and it stays in that position. So always from the top to the bottom side, and then it's good. Then we switch the end. And again, only the tips, because we want to have that curly material in the middle section to create the volume and support each fiber and make it easy to build up volume. And then we just put that on the hook shank. I would say like 1/3 in the back and 2/3 in the front. We go in a bit more to the bead. Just lay my material down and make 1, 2, 3 loose wraps and let it sit there. And then I'm gonna just distribute the material around the hook shank very easily, just with your thumbnail. And you always have to have a look that the materials are totally parallel to the hook shank on every side, on the bottom side, on the top side, on the left and right side, because we want to force that material in that 90-degree angle. And if we force that material into that 90-degree angle, it's going to stand up and flare out. And if you have the material not parallel to the hook shank, it won't build up that volume. So now we have done 3 thread wraps. It turns a bit, no worries. We distributed the material very equally. And then we go and wind our thread in the direction of the bead. Only a few more reps. And then I hold the material tight with my finger or my hand, pulling down the bobbin so that the thread is tight. No fiber can get trapped in the comb. And then I just comb it a bit. Get my dubbing needle to just raise the top of the fibers. And then put a tube on it. This is a dubbing needle with a tube. And then you have a look from the front so that the material is spread like the rays of the sun. And then you just fold it back. Have a look from the front again. And then every strand is nice and clean, directed to the back side of it. And then you cover your material and you can have a look again. If you have any fibers that are maybe trapped and stick together, you can now realign them again. And if you are a bit more professional, then when you did that fly, I'd say like maybe 2 or 3 times, then you can have a look. Then you have a bit more material on the top side than on the bottom side, because if you have a bit more material on the top side, we have a bit more keeling effect, so that the fly swims very straight and doesn't turn while stripping. And then you continue wrapping your thread against the bead surface so that we can force the material into that 90-degree angle. And if if the diameter of your thread wraps is getting bigger, and you want to normally tie against the bead surface, when it's getting bigger, you add the bead surface. So then you know you have to pull a bit more tight to get the material really, really down in that 90-degree angle, and then you can see what happens. That fly is going to really flare up with the amount of material. I would say like not a half of a gram, not a half of a half gram. It's so less material, it's so ultra lightweighted. Awesome stuff. We have also the sparkle already tied in. And the second thing is why I put my flash into that material first is now I have only one tying point. If I would add flash now, I would just build up the tying point and make it thicker, so we gain more weight. Yeah, we don't want weight. We want to have it easy to cast the whole day. And yeah, less material, less money, faster tying, efficient fly. An efficient fly doesn't need to be bulky and with several tying points. The way it is like this, awesome stuff. Then you just force the material to be a bit more organized. And then I use a head-run lateral scale. A few of you already know that already. This is the thick version of it. The smaller you go with those flies, the thinner you choose your sidelines here. I like that dyed pearl stuff. It's also very durable. I would say like from 10 flies, I maybe lost one sideline the whole last 10 years. Only a few thread wraps, and the easiest way, as you could see it, is just get it underneath your thread, raise it up, bring it in position, align it to the left or right side, and then we have cutted them both at the same time. So I just look for alignment here in the front section. Then I know that in the tail section, they are equally in length. Only a few reps. We don't need to be, we don't need to give a lot of pressure and thread reps on it. That's it. Then you just remove the axis. You can leave it if you want, no worries. I always remove them, don't know why, but it's okay like this. So now the body section is mostly done, but we want to make the head durable as well, because if the teeth of Pike catch your tying point only in the surface, the fly won't last that long. And if we let it soak up with a bit of super glue, you can use every super glue you can find, a common one from the craft store, supermarket, or whatever. They are all made the same. Yeah, I tend to use these 1 gram stuff because, yeah, when I messed around, I just get a new one and they are quite cheap, and I don't have to throw a bottle away, which costed me maybe 7, 8, 9 quid. So yeah, that's it. Now we have secured it, and now we start tying in our dubbing. I already told you about the Raptor's curly creature dubbing. It's up to, I'd say, like 14, 15 centimeters in length, as you can see here. And if you want to, if you tie smaller flies, cut it in half, use it half, no worries. I just aligned the fibers again a bit more. They are automatically tapered. You don't have to taper this. When you get it out of the bag, it's easy to go, and you can start right now. Here, again, material on the top. The amount of the material you have to try. If you use too much of that material because it's synthetic, it will be hard to make this the fly sink. So I use very less amount of material. You will see that when I comp it. Then I align the material on the sidelines, that we have a nice cut, a dark head, and a bright belly. For a belly, I'm using now white. Same stuff, curly creature dubbing, fully synthetic, very durable, awesome stuff. I tend to use a bit less material in the bottom side, or on the bottom, because I cut it in half. Why I do that is I want to have the hook a bit more free and the belly a bit lighter, made of material. Like I told before, the back section needs a bit more material, that the fly keels very good, but the second effect is here that we can hook the fish more easy when the hook point is free. So I don't have to explain you that. And you will have less tangles. And if you do it right, it's not half cut it in length. It's nearly, I would say, like 3/4 of it in length. You can see we have easily, I'd say, like 9 centimeters. Again, 1/3 in the back, 2 in the front. 1, 2, 3 reps. Have a look. Straighten up the material. Awesome stuff. Pinch your fingers, or pinch the material with your fingers. Get a bit of tension on the thread, and then you just wind a few thread wraps into that tying point. And again, to secure it, very easy step. Just moisten your thread a bit with super glue, not too much. And do yourself a favor, don't let the bobbin hang down. If there runs a small drop of super glue into your tube of the bobbin, yeah, the bobbin was a bobbin. Then you get the material a bit flared out, just to be able to distribute it a bit more easy. And then you have a gap here. This gap we need down here for the thread now. Just get the materials very calm to the back, because you can easily hurt yourself now with the hook point here. Get the thread in the front, tie it down, not catch the material, just tie in front of the material, a small clump, to get it shaped equally. And then you just comb the fly. I comb it now with the thread on, because I want to tie some eyes on it, some quick ones, and make the fly, I'd say, like a jerk fly. Because if we do a epoxy head or a resin head, the fly will jig a bit more. But if we do, if we tie in these tap-on eyes here, you're gonna have the effect that no volume is gone, no weight is added, and the fly will easily jerk like 180 degree if you strip it hard. That's a very cool stuff. Any questions by far?
Have you got a name for the fly, Alois?
Sorry again.
Have you got a name for it?
6-inch ultralight pike fly. If you Google that, you're gonna just find the shop. I have now no flies online, but you also will find a video on YouTube how to tie it. So everything we do right here, right now, is on YouTube as well. And you can have a look, but we have it afterwards here. We have it double on YouTube, I guess. So I attach the tap-on eyes like this to the front. 3 wraps, that's enough. On the other side, the same thing. 1, 2, 3. And if they're good, I just fold them back, catch them again, and do only a few securing wraps. And adjust it a bit. And then again, a bit of super glue. Get the moistured super glue behind the hook eye. 2 half hitches. Let it soak in. And then you're done. Now your fly is ready. And it will jerk like crazy. These eyes won't be lasting long on that fly. It's yeah, printed foil or combined with a bit of paper layer, I guess. But as you can see, the fly is gonna push a lot of water. It looks nasty. Yeah, this is the first thing we can do. And the first style of fly we can do. We're gonna tie the fly again, maybe a different color, and I'm gonna show you the other head I was talking about.
Where do you get the rubber bead?
It's a common carp bead. I get them. I can just pick out the package, and there you can see what it is. Let me just refresh the table a bit. I'm gonna fetch it for you. These are the rubber beads. You can see the carp on there. I was really searching for for rubber beads like this quite a long time, because you have seen that we used super glue, and the super glue has acetone. I don't know if you know that, if I speak it correct now. Acetone in it, and it's the acetone is gonna hurt mostly every plastic, because we have these how can I say that? I don't know the real word. This stuff that keeps it soft, you know. And when that stuff disappears in these rubber beads, then it's gonna get cracks and just fall off, and then your complete volume of the fly is gone. So when you see rubber beads like this in this color, it's really a specific color. Then they will keep the shape even if you use super glue. No worries. And they cost you like £1.50, maybe. So cheap material, and you can easily tie a few flights with it.
Is Zapagap got the same acetone?
Yes. It's the super glues are the same, totally. You just have to separate like the normal super glue or the super glue in gel, you know? So yeah, the next one. I think the next one we're gonna tie on this big hook here, the CS86, not X, because the X stands for really power. This is the thin wired one, and 6.0, it's a new one from Partridge. You can see it's a really, really big one. We used this hook before. And there you have, sorry?
Was the previous one a size 4?
That was a 4.0, yeah, and the CS86XS, so a short shank hook.
Thank you.
Looks like one of Pete Major's buzzer hooks.
Sorry, again?
Looks like Pete Major's buzzer hook.
So again, we add our rubber bead, and we have now a bit more space to fill in between the rubber bead hole and the wire. So my 200 denier. At the first fly, I was just struggling a bit. This is the best method to add the rubber bead. You know, I put it now in the front to the hook eye, but the last one I did like putting it back, and then I had to get the thread off and tie it in again. So this is not happening here. But we have to add, you can see how flexible the hook is, why it's thin wired. But it won't bend or break, and even if it should break, it would. It didn't at mine, but first it would bend, not break. So you can net the fish with a maybe deformed hook, but you have a big mama. You have to have a big mama on it, like 1.20 meters, or I'd say like 12 up to 15 kilo. So I added super glue again, and then I just wind up my rubber bead on that thread base. Why I wind it? It's very easy. If you wind it on top of your thread, you just distribute your super glue a bit more in the complete hole, on the complete shank. Depends on how you want to see it. And now we have a bit of super glue left here. You can see it's a bit shiny. So there we go, and just make our thread base behind our rubber bead. And then you're done. Now we go in front again. Add a bit of super glue so that we have a connection to the hook shank. And start with our 100 denier. So yeah, let's maybe do a roach. I have a bit of white left here. And with this method, when you get your materials out of the bag like this, not much pressure on the left hand, but keep it tight on the right, and then just squeeze some fibers out, I would say. You are able to choose the right amount. If you just pull like everything out, then you have to get it back in, and yeah, this way it's way more easy. And then you have to feel again. Yeah, that's good. First hit was perfect. Length again up to, yeah, I would say like 17 centimeters. Then tapering. Did anybody of you already use a hair iron for fly tying?
Yeah, it helps keep it out of the way.
No, I do use a steamer.
Ah, okay. These are these small things to burn, like edges of flies, isn't it?
Yeah, I use a steamer for hair as well.
Ah, steamer. Ah, okay. Yeah, now I got you. So,
And I've got this little one which you got all the attachments on, and I just put it on. And if you keep it on, you can get it like a kettle, and then
okay.
you can just heat the material in steam.
Yeah. I tended to use steam, like from water boiler, for my caddis flies before I cut them.
Oh yeah.
When I use deer hair.
Oh, that's right, bloody stuff here, so I'll find it. Yeah, that's what I use. It just picked it up. One like this from a charity shop. And use those, and it's just easy.
Ah, okay.
And you got a little button there on the end, like a little trigger, and you just get steam when you want it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it works quite well. I didn't come up with the idea, but
I wouldn't have said that.
I
So
got
again,
given the tip by salmon tires.
ah, okay. Again, distributing the materials. And the next fly is going to be separated materials on the bottom and on the top side. Now we do it only in white because we're going to keep it simple. And these flies are very easy to tie even for beginners. You just have to remember about a few steps, which are very, very easy to just check and do. Yeah, again, the needle. Look for equal distribution. Get it to the back side. Catch it 1, 2, 3. Reposition them a bit. And then we go into the bead surface. And as you can see, I left a bit more space here because we want to use these eyes afterwards. And I want to have a nice, neat head, a slim head. So we just don't want to put them on the tying point so that we get like a V shape in the front. I want to have the eyes sitting parallel. And that's way more easy if you have a bit more space. And I learned that, keep the space in salmon fly tying as well. with a quite good teacher, a really good teacher. I would say quite a really good teacher. And he was like, yeah, like a teacher in school. When I did something wrong, he's always like, no, stop, go backwards. This is flight time. We can do a step back, and you have to do that now. Because if not, it's not looking good. So again, our sideline, 1, 2, 3. That's the easiest and fastest way to do. So again, a bit of super glue.
What make of super glue do you use, Alois?
That super glue here, what it makes for me.
What make? Yeah.
This is a normal Uhu stuff. Now you can see it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's a pack where 3 of them are in, and it costs you here like €2.
Oh, cool. Because some of them small ones like that are useless, aren't they?
So
Is that also one of your own clips?
these here?
Put
Yeah.
it in here.
No, you can buy it at a local drugstore, I'd say, or in a supermarket. But I got them from my kids because I have two daughters. So
Was
Yeah.
it for the hair or something then? Alois?
yeah, this is for the hair, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And now I'm using a bit of fuzzy fiber. I think you already know that. It's from Hedron as well. I just cut a small strand, like I'd say like 10 up to 15 fibers. I just want to add a bit of color in the cheeks. A bit more attractive. I just cut it in half and half and half. They are very UV active, or this is very UV active, that stuff. I just half it again and then put it on the side. 1, 2, 3. On the other side as well. One, 2, 3. Realign them. It looks good. Tighter wraps against the last tying point. And I just flip the material to the back. You can also do that with the palmed loop or palmed loop, you know. But for me, it's okay like this. And it's going to shine through, no worries. I'm going to have a look for not that dark color. But we can do, or I can show you how I mix the dubbing as well. I have the gray color here now for the top side, and I take a bit of the black and I just pull out a few fibers, which I probably will need in amount wise, and then I just keep mixing them. It doesn't have to be 100% blended or mixed. It can be a bit more darker there, a bit more lighter there. But you should mix it a bit, yeah. Don't put it all just together and then tie it in. That looks like, you know. But it hasn't to be fancy. I don't think, yeah, you see that. It's grayish, blackish a bit flash in it. And there we go. One in the back, two in the front. And always have a look for the material being there where you want it. And if not, you can also rewind, as I said before. So then we get out a bit of white. And I take the full length now, because the hook is a bit longer. Again, 3 reps. Then squeeze it with your fingers again, pressure on the thread, and start securing the material. Good. Again, a bit of super glue. And with 2 tying points here, you create one fly, which has a great shape, which lasts very long, and everybody can tie that. So again, the materials to the back. I just build up a small clump in front of the material. And that's it. I don't super glue it now because we're gonna add some ice, and I'm gonna work with super glue here. And I think a grayish back, grayish blackish back, and a white throat with that gills or cheeks, that looks so nice. And we have a UV biting point in it. That's good stuff. Yeah, now we want to add some ice here in the front. For this one, I take 8mm ice, which are kind of cheap. They cost you like €2.50 for 72 pieces. I just put them on my hand. And the good thing on these ice too is that they don't react with super glue as well. Because if you have these master foil where the eye is made on, sometimes when you use super glue, the master foil, I'd say, just delaminates from the main eye, and that's like hell for me. If you tie a good fly and then you mess up the head because the eyes don't do that what you want. Yeah, for the eyes, the amount of super glue I use, this one is a different one. You can see here now it's gel. I use gel because the gel super glue doesn't disappears like directly into the head and gets hardened. You have a bit of time to use it. So I just make a small drop here and yeah, distribute the drop a bit, like the pupil of the eye, and massage it into the material so that it gets contact to the hook shank or to the last tying point. And then I just press it down a bit, leave it like 5-6 seconds, and then it's good. And then we do the other side. Again, massaging the super glue in so that we can get a connection to to the guts, I'd say. And now the second eye, you have to align like the first eye so that you are in the right position to the hook eye, and then they are parallel in height.
You can see that orange shining through.
Yeah. Any questions before I start using the resin, my preferred one, the Rage Dab in medium and in red, flex? No?
They're all on mute, Alois.
Yeah, but they can unmute themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers. Okay. Why I take my time right now is if you used a bit too much super glue in here, or if you just use the right amount, the super glue needs time to evaporate the acetone so that it gets hardened. If you now cover it directly with your favorite UV resin, it could be that the super glue is not hardened completely, so your eyes aren't fixed properly. So that's the main thing. Normally I tie like, I'd say like 5 flies in a row until this point, and then I'm just getting it off the vise, put it away, and leave it there. Like I start with the first fly of the 5. Yeah. So the super glue really needs to rest a bit, so that the head is really in good condition. Like I told you before, I'm using now the Rate Zap medium. The medium is for me the viscosity that I use most for streamer sizes like this, because it's very, very easy to work with. For somebody, maybe it's also too fast. So then you can pick the thick one. Or if you're a really fast tire, a fast whatever, you can use the thin one. But the medium is the good average for everybody, I guess. And then I start with a thin needle here, and again massage the material into the head. And you can just move the fibers a bit, and then you can see how the glue is been soaked up into the material. And the best way to do it is in multiple layers, because if you would have done like a big drop on it now, and the amount is correct, and the head looks awesome with that, it could be based on the fibers that block the light a bit, that the material isn't hardened really good. So a few seconds hardening, and then again the last layer just to cover the eyes in between, just to fill the gap. And if there are any bubbles trapped in that resin, just tickle them a bit with the needle and they're gone. And now I just filled the gap so that we have the glue aligned with the eyes here in that corner, in that nice shape. And then on the bottom side, we use red. And as you could see, I'm storing my colors always upside down, because we have pigments in here, color pigments. And these color pigments will be on the bottom side if you store it normal, and you will have a kind of translucent glue, which is a bit reddish, yeah. And if you store it upside down, you have the full particles coming out and no bubbles will be in. So again, I massage it a bit in here and start slow. I'm turning it a bit so that you can see a bit better what I'm doing. Move the material that's really nice, soaked up. And then just hit it with a light. It's nearly filled the gap. Again, a bit of it. And harden it. And now here comes the second bottle, and you see the cap is a bit different. In here, I have a brush. And with the brush, it is so easy to work. And let me see if I can just get a bit more focus on that, what I'm doing now. Because the brush is, yeah, kind of special to use. Or for me, a special thing to use. It makes working with that stuff so easy. Look at this one here. We have your flag. So I just open it, and when I open it, I'm tending to move my brush in that bottle a bit to just get rid of the material which drops down from the shaft here, and that I have the right amount. If I have a too big, I'd say like material amount, it will be hard to work with. And now I'm setting here just a bubble on the pupil. Again, fetch my material. And another bubble on the pupil, a bit less. And then you take your brush and move the material a bit into that dubbing behind the eyes, just a wee bit. And distribute the material on the eye equally so that you have a layer which is which is blessed with the same thickness everywhere. And again, just push your UV a bit into the material and make a nice layer on the eye and on the forehead. And then you have a look from the front and turn it, and then you can see if the material amount is right. And if it's too much, you can easily get a bit of material off, or if it's too less, just make a real big drop on it. Yeah. And again, distribute it, or you just put it off. So you are very flexible with that brush. And it comes with that glue in the package, with that siren needle, with that thin metal needle, and with the normal dispenser, you know, from every other bottle as well. So again, a look from the front, keep it turning, and then hit it with a torch. And that stuff is not steaming when you harden it. As you can see, there's no steam coming off. It doesn't smell. It's not tacky. And it's crystal clear. And it makes your head, like the rest of the fly, the materials, super, super durable. Yeah, nice. Yeah, you can see the head. It's nice and parallel. Yeah, it's made for quite a few fish.
Beautiful, Alois.
Thank you. Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, very nice.
And as you can see here, the bottle is delivered with a cap, with a rubber cap for the needle, but it's not like the other ones. They are, I think, translucent or clear or whatever. This one is black, so that the UV doesn't get into your needle. It's a really, really good thing. We had that before at RaidZap with a translucent cover or cap. And yeah, it nearly pissed me off. Like every time I sat down on the desk and wanted to tie, because I always tie beneath my window and the sun is coming down here during the lunchtime, and then all the bottles were like fixed, and then you had to burn the needle, and yeah, this way is the better way with the black UV resistant cover. Okay. So which time is it? Ah, we have 1 hour left, man. Yeah, then let's have a bit of material talk. I got some new materials at the EWF from a guy from the Czech Republic. It's Tommy Fly. This material here is called nuclear streamer hair, and you can see why it's called nuclear. I just switch off my light and go back to the closer shot. Have a look at that material. This is normally white. We have orange here, we have yellow in it, and then we have the black one. Here, the black one. And then look at this. This is an awesome color mix. And it's material which is not synthetic. It's I think Icelandic sheep mixed with a few synthetic fibers. But we're gonna tie a fly now with it. And I tied at the fair at the EWF a few flies with it, but with bucktail. Now we're gonna use our material, which we used for the first fly as well, the curly creature hair, but only to support it, to give a bit of volume, yeah. And I think we're gonna do a black one. So we take a bit of black material here. Let's use a heavy weighted hook, because these materials we're gonna use a bit more than normal, I guess. These materials will be like floating, because it's natural material, and we want to get the fly down and swim nice and behave like prey does. Now we just take the material, the bare material, not mixed. I just want to use it for creating the volume inside of the fly. At the inside of the fly with our CS86X in size 6.0. And again, my 100 denier, when I can find it in my chaos here. There. So let's super glue. I'm gonna work with 3 tying points here now, but I want to keep the hook in the back section free for being able to unhook the fish properly and don't destroy your fly. And that's a good thing too for the flies I tied before. You have a really good access to the hook shank without hurting your fly when you use big pliers or stuff like that. Everybody knows that you can destroy a fly with pliers so fast, giving pressure on it, robbing or squeezing, whatever. So we have a bit of super glue, which we don't need, so just get it off. And then I use my curly creature here.
Do you prefer barbed or debarbed when you're fishing for pike these days?
To be honest, if I fish for pike on the surface, like with poppers, I prefer a non-barbed hook, like the CS45 or 54 from Partridge, the nice gate one. You know that also. This.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
And that hook point gets way more easy into the mouth than this one here with the barb. We have a bigger diameter here with the barb, and this diameter is smaller, and so you don't need that much pressure to set the hook.
Yeah.
And the drill or the fight or whatever you want to call it on a surface lure is way shorter than if you fish with kind of that hook and in depth of maximum 10 meters. Then in 10 meters you can easily get yeah, I would say like a slack line for a few seconds only. And then when you have a non-barbed hook, the slack line will maybe let you lose the fish if you fish non-barbed. If you fish barbed, the hook will, yeah, the barb will help you a bit to just net the fish or being able to net the fish. Because the deeper you fish, the less contact or the harder it is to have contact to your fly. So top water for me, barbless, quick fishing, quick drill, and the deeper I go, I definitely need barb because the feeling is not that good.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree with that because I think barbless below, you tend to lose the fish and rehook it. It repositions around the mouth where it
Yeah.
comes out and rehooks itself again.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly you do more damage. I don't know.
My opinion is when you hook a fish with a non-barbed hook, the hole is way smaller, and the hook won't play that hard in that hole. If you hook a fish with a barb, your hook, your shank, is in a hole which is a bit bigger because the barb make a bigger hole, and
Yeah.
then it has a bit more play, a bit more ability to move. So this is gonna be a big fly. I just get my materials now on the back side.
Sorry to take you onto another subject, is when you were talking on the,
No worries.
on the hooks. That's why I was asking, really.
Yeah, talking about hooks, it's a big topic. Everybody of you has its brand, its favorite hooks, and uses these for a special kind of reason. And to be honest, that's okay. Everybody has its reason and its knowledge about the circumstances in which he fished and what can I say? I'm missing a word. Yeah,
It's
experience
and confidence.
with the hook. Yeah, and
Yeah.
these experience with the typical or not the non-typical, the personal hook. These are the best. And if you have, like I said before, confidence in your setup, like using a special kind of material, a special kind of hook, then that all comes together and you're gonna catch.
Yeah, no, I must admit, I did use Sakuma for a while, but I kept finding them snapping.
Okay.
And I've gone back to partridge or the mustard bronze.
Yeah. I tried a few brands, but I'm stuck at partridge because I can't really rely on them. I never had a moment where I was like, fuck, this is based on the hook,
Yeah.
We have so many points during fishing where we can be like pissed basically because it didn't work like you thought about it. And when you can just say like, okay, I use this hook and it won't happen, so you have 1 point gone where you could have problems.
Yeah, I do a lot of saltwater and saltwater piking as well. And I use the Gamatsu stainless on that.
Okay.
And they're robust as well, but they're a lot more expensive, but for everyday piking, I would use the ordinary partridge.
Yeah.
I don't like hooks which rust, and they rust in saltwater so quick.
So we just do a small shape or a basic shape for a bait fish. And then we're gonna add our materials or our material which I showed you. We'll use the black one then. And you can easily mix. Oh, I'm a bit too focused.
No, put your finger on the hook.
Yeah, I do that manually with the, you know.
Yeah. That's better. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And let's get that material out of the box here, out of the bag. Quite long stuff. Just.
You were saying this is your own brand?
No, this is not my brand. This is Tommy Fly from the Czech Republic. He
Right,
had
okay.
a booth beside me when I was at the EWF in southern Germany, and he was like, "Yeah, we have new materials here. Would you love to try them and stuff?" And he gave me a few colors, and I tried them at the fair, and I was really, really stoked about it. Not only based on the cool color scheme he has, but the length of the material, the price is good.
Is this what they used to call the monster dubbing? Is it the same company?
No, that's different. It's called the nuclear streamer here.
Yeah.
From this is so small here. Tommy Fly. I'm gonna give you something different. Yeah, now you've got it.
I didn't get over to the EWF this year. Was it good?
Yeah, the Saturday was a blast. Sunday was like, yeah, boring, but that's Germany.
Yeah.
Tommy Fly. You can have a look at Instagram or for his normal shop, and he's a very good guy. Top section. I just love the effect of the UV activity of that material. And this is really my first try combining my curly creature hair with his natural mix with synthetics here, the nuclear dubbing, nuclear streamer hair.
Sits well together, doesn't it?
Sorry again?
It sits well together.
Yeah. I think so. I hope so. I will give it a try in the next days.
Yeah, you get some, they sort of like pull apart all the time, but that really goes together well.
I think it will be easy to rip apart because it's natural material.
Lovely profile.
It is like it is. Let's have a look at the color. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
This is something that shouldn't happen because the tips are good. The tips didn't get hurt. Okay. Where do we go? This is really just a fishing fly. You've seen that. No real focus on volume. Just a nice shape which can imitate every kind of silhouette of a fish. But for me here, the key is the color. Because we have a dark silhouette, which we talked about before. So you can fish it during the day or during the night or murky or in clear water. And it will be seen. And you have the UV effect in here. And if I would have straightened the fibers here, the tail would have been a bit slimmer and moving a bit more. But you know now how to do it. And that's it.
Yeah, lovely profile.
Yeah, and easy and quick to do. Yeah, normally you would fill up now the gaps and stuff. But again, 2 materials, that's it. And I don't know if you had the situation as well when you go fishing for pike in waters where you have a lot of pressure by spin fishermen. Sometimes the fly needs to be like really non-flashy because they're totally pissed off when they see something that flashes, because when they see flash, they feel the pain again from the last time the hook got them, you know? And therefore, I mostly fish my flies with an underrated amount and a really smaller amount, I mean. And therefore, from my friends, underrated of flash, because I don't want to spook the fish. I just want to make them keep interested in my fly and not seeing this like, okay, I know that this is going to hurt. Yeah, so start every time you use a flash, start with a less amount, then more and more, tie some more flies with more of that and try it at your local waters. And I think you're gonna see where you got a lot of pressure by spin fishermen, less flash is good, and where you get mostly no pressure on the water, you can fish a fly made of flash, you know, and the fish will react.
I think we found we have a competition every Christmas, and it's lure against fly.
Okay.
With 8 years on the trot, we smashed the lure guys every year. And I think it's because with a fly you can fish it slower, and they don't always want to chase.
Yeah.
They sometimes want, with a natural feather and synthetic, it will pulse on its own when you stop it.
Yeah.
And it really does bring on pike which want to take on gently. You sometimes get, when you clear water, I've seen it, where a pike just grabs and noses it, wants to take it, but won't attack. And I thought of adding a little bit of foam inside to put like a bait scent to tackle that theory, because I don't like stripping fast.
Yeah.
I like to work the fly slow.
Yeah, this is why I use different hooks in one kind of fly. So you have a fly looks all the same, but the hook is different, and then it behaves totally different.
Yeah.
If you have a look on this fly with that resin head, it's gonna jig. And if you tie that fly exactly the same with tap on ice or no ice, it's not gonna jig. It's gonna sit like this, and it's gonna jerk, you know? So tying your fly, or I would say like the first thing is think about the water, think about the weather or the time of the year, not the weather, the time of the year, and the depth you want to fish. So then you can combine your materials perfectly by choosing the hook, the amount of the material, and the art of the material, the way of the material. The silhouette can be always the same, baitfish style, but
yeah, I agree with you
look
100% on the silhouette. But for very dirty water, I found 2 colors which you would never put together, which work. And it's fluorescent pink and orange. And in dirty water, for some reason, they attack that fly when they ignore everything else.
Okay.
And I think it's just because of the color range, because I agree with you. Night black. Yeah, that color with a bright pink or fluorescent yellow with it for daylight, for in dirty water, and they just can't resist it.
I'm gonna tie now an orange one.
Sorry, I'm hogging you by talking again.
No worries. I have that same situation with my lads in the evening as well. We are tying, or they are mostly tying, and I'm talking. But now it's different. Again, a bit of.
You mean you're drinking, Alois?
Yeah, I need to drink. Yeah. I'm dehydrated.
I'll send you a malt down. Are you fishing for the asp and the zander as well, or you have not got those in Germany?
Yeah, we got those in Germany, definitely. For Zander, yeah, when I lived in Hamburg, I did that quite often because the Elbe was around my door, around my doorstep. But now I have to drive like 1.5 hours to fish for Zander, like I did before. We have Zanders here in our club rivers as well. But this is, yeah, I would say like without any current. And you know, I fish them a lot in currents where you have an edge where the current is, and another place where there's no current. And we knew our water's that good that you could fish in daytime in 3 meter deep water in the current and catch zander. Great times, but you have to have a boat, yeah. So that's the main thing. And the good thing is the asp is right beside it. When you have these edges of current and non-current, and it's the right time of the day, so in the morning or in the evening, or a bright sun and really pressure in the water, then the asp is there and it's gonna be fun, yeah.
Yeah, we don't get asp in this country. It's one of my target fish, so I want to catch.
Yeah, in Germany we have quite good amount of asp everywhere because nobody eats asp because the bones are everywhere in that fish.
I'll have to try when we're out in Germany next. Take a rod from me and have a go.
Yeah, go to the Elbe. It's full of asp.
I got to sort because you got to have a license now for fishing in Germany. I mean,
Yeah, you can if you are
you got to you got to have a where they say you're fit to go on a course or something. I mean,
yeah, you have to have a license when you're or you have to do a course when you're German. But the license as a visitor, as a friend who comes and pass by for fishing, you can buy for I'd say like a week.
and as a visitor, have I got to still do the course?
You don't have to do the course then, no.
No, that's all right then. That's what I was worried about. If you got daughters and you're there with their hair clippers, do you have a problem with your can't think what they're bloody called now. You know, these disappearing as well. Tweezers.
Yeah, but
My tweezers, my kids and the wife constantly nicking me bloody tweezers.
yeah, they lent stuff at mine as well for doing craft stuff, like what's it called, bubble water beads or whatever, and you know these small stuff. But the tweezers I bought the last time from Renome to quite a wide one to yeah, grab some fibers from feathers, awesome stuff. And they don't use that kind of tweezer because it's too fat, you know.
But that's what I gotta need to buy then.
But this one is good as well here.
Yeah.
This one is the one which is mostly gone. So yeah, let me just do a quick orange carrot, I would say. Again, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do it orange in the back and white in the belly section because I told you we're gonna tie a fly, which is with 2 tones. And as you can see, like with the dubbing, I just align it to the sideline again. And for only the top section, we have this orange stuff. And then for the bottom, we take white. And a bit less than in the top section again, just to make the fly keel a bit better. And if you wouldn't talk that much like I do and just tie the flies, you can easily tie, if you got used to it, like up to 6 or 8 flies in an hour with really not heavy skills. Okay, two-toned is a bit more work to do, but oh, that's now too hot. I left it on. I left it on, and I think, yeah, I have to wait, or I just tie it in now. Because if it's too hot, the fibers just get crinkled, and they're done.
Do you run? I always run mine under a hot tap once I've made them, and profile them, and then just hang them up to dry, and they always film a better profile. Do you do the same or not?
No, you don't have to do that with these synthetic flies. This is something you do with the bucktail or
Yeah.
other natural materials. But in this case, you don't need that. They have the same shape every day. If you rinse it with hot water, then it's going to look like an eel. Or if you what's it called? With a hair dryer. If you do it with a hair dryer, then it's going to lose the volume because the fibers will just get bent, and that's it.
Yeah, I do more as a combination of hair and synthetic. I usually have a little tiny bit of hair, natural, because I think it pulses better with it, but I don't use big volumes of it. What
The
you
good thing
make
is,
pusher backer from?
André Migues or André Migis from the Netherlands.
Yeah, I know, Andrew. Yeah, I got a set of his dubbing needles here.
And as you can see, you can combine mostly every color. This is such a great way of tying pike flies or streamers. It's not only a pike fly, it's a streamer in general, even for saltwater, because it's so durable based on the fact that it's everything synthetic. It's awesome stuff. And you don't have to invest that much money to get a bit of materials. If you buy one setup, like the body fibers and the dubbing, and maybe the eyes with the dubbing and the body fibers, you are easily tying like 15 up to 20 flies. Depends on the material amount you use. This is a bit too bulky for me in the front here. Not that nice, but it is like it is. Now I use like the color of like sunburst. It's a mix of red and orange, both fluorescent. But only for the back section. A bit more.
Yeah, it's a nice color.
And this is blended by hand, like I showed you with the gray and the black. It takes its time, but it's worth it. Oh, there's a bit of gray laying around here, so we take the gray. And on that fly, I wouldn't even add eyes. I have several flies in my box which don't even have an eye. or I fish flies like 2 or 3 years that they lost the tap ice, but they are getting fish. No worries.
Yeah, I've gone away myself from UV resins. I now use for putting my eyes on a product that they use for sticking the feathers to arrows.
Okay, I don't know that.
And you just stick it on the back of the eye, stick it on the fiber, and it never comes off. Because I found resins, I was losing too many flies when they break up in age.
Yeah, you won't have that with red zap, I guarantee. Really. I never had a fly like 2 or 3 years old that got I'd say like yellowish or cloudy or whatever. Or
Some of them stink. Does this one smell?
no way, no, it doesn't. I used Solaris before, and my wife told me that's the last time you tie in our living room. And then I got my own tying room, and then I switched to Raid Zap, and then she was like, "Okay, now you can come back. It doesn't smell no more." And I was like, "No, I got my tying room now. I stay here."
You got to have a man cave.
I got one. This is
That sunburst is beautiful color.
yeah. Look at
The
this.
trigger on it underneath on the throat. It's going to hit them, isn't it?
Yeah. This is just the way I fish for pike and smaller versions for perch as well. And to be honest, this took me like 5 years in tying to find my own style of fly with that rubber bead. Before that, I tried a lot with UV resin balls or dubbing balls to lay the material against, but
that's what I do when I do just a thing. But I've never seen that rubber ball.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And every guy that visits me on fairs and stuff, I think Stuart Wiley, and he was the last one who just said like, yeah, I adapted it and it works great. And I think he posted some pictures after the BFFI as well. And he gets a huge profile. You can tie them as long as you want because these flies are not stiff. If the fly is gonna be sucked in by a predator, even if you remember like pike do it, they swallow it that hard. I would say like they're getting like 5 liters water in the mouth where the fly is in, and this fly just folds together, and the hook can be small or big as you like it, and it's gonna sit, and you don't need a stinger or an extra extension or a wiggle tail. The fly is attractive and effective, and it lasts that long. Brilliant stuff.
What do they use the balls for in carp fishing?
I think like a bumper when they do rigs and stuff for bigger beats or weights.
So it's like a
running.
stopper, really.
Yeah.
Float stop.
It's a float stop, is it?
Float stopper, yeah.
Yeah, or that the knot doesn't get hurt by the weight, Yeah.
I'll have to get some of them.
Yeah, do that. They are very cheap. I have an amount of 20 in those bags, and if you cut it in half, you can tie 40 flies of it. So, and you can get it in different diameters. This one I used here was a 7 millimeter, and the smallest I use is 3 millimeter.
Oh, they are small.
Yeah, and I tie really, really small perch flies with it, but in the same kind of way like this one.
Yeah. That's like one cast and it's dry, isn't it?
Yeah. One back cast. It's not dry, but there's no water inside,
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you use too much material, as I said before, it will be a bit hard to get the fly into the water. You will recognize that if you use too much material. So do yourself a favor. If you think you have the right amount of material, especially for the dubbing head, for the dubbing, use half. That's enough. It's so curly and so stiff, it builds up easily a huge amount of volume. You have seen that. I just like 3 times I did like this, and then I had my amount of the material for the dubbing. That's really, really nice stuff. I mean, like, who can resist this fly?
Pike won't.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just let me know. You can easily drop a message into the group. No worries. I think the ingredients we talked a lot about right now. Yeah, if you have any questions about this stuff, as I said, please drop a message or go to my website and you're gonna find the materials. Yeah, I really can recommend that.
The beads hold it though, don't they?
The beads, what? Sorry.
Make the fly the way you tie them now with that bead, half bead. The ball.
Yeah. What about that?
It makes the fly the way you tie it.
Yeah,
with that
yeah.
ball
It's
that
only
holds
the
profile.
bead. It's only the bead, the half-cutted rubber bead, that makes this flaring effect of the material. Yeah.
I have to try
Try
that.
it. You're gonna love it. And
What
do
was
me
the
a
size
favor.
of the black balls?
Sorry again.
What was the size of the black balls?
7 millimeter or 8 millimeter. The more diameter you use, the bigger the diameter is, the more volume you will create. If you
I
use,
found 8 millimeter on Amazon, so
yeah, get them and try them. How much are they, Colin?
they were just about $9.50
$9.50
for 50 balls.
50,
Oh,
okay.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, but it's really expensive. I think if you go in a local normal fishing shop where you can buy spin fishing gear, carp gear and stuff, they're gonna have them as well. And they're gonna be very, very less expensive compared to your ones you found for
I'll check
nearly
at Bass
10
Pro
quid.
and see.
Yeah. Go in a local fishing shop and I think they're gonna have it.
Okay,
I don't know. Do they
Thanks.
do carp fishing in America?
you bet.
Yeah, of course they are.
Try carp fishing on a fly. Unbelievable.
Oh, we caught them yesterday on fly, but we were after rainbow trout and we never touched one. All we kept catching was common carp.
Thanks for tonight, Alois.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. Next time, maybe we do some dry flies.
Whereabouts in Germany, you know?
I'm in the middle of Hanover and Hamburg.
Right, up that part. Yep.